everyone. Welcome back to In the Yard podcast with your hosts, Collin and Braeden Cox. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the trade deadline and our reactions around the MLB and the trade deadlines and who's going to be contenders, what trades made teams contenders, which teams bought, which teams sold. And we're going to bring that to you right here on In the Yard. So, Braeden, I guess I could start with this question.
Go ahead.
What is going to be a tough one right from the start, but what you think... Which trade do you think was like the big trade, like the blockbuster trade that's going to put a team over the edge?
It's tough. That's tough. I'm looking over here because I have a list. St. Louis dealing Jack to Baltimore is a huge deal.
Okay.
Huge deal. That's right. If I had to pick one, that's a good deal for Baltimore. Verlander it's a big name. He's going back to Houston where he's had a ton of success. He's won 2 World Series. I think that's a big deal for the Astros just because they're getting that veteran presence back in, someone they're familiar with. I think it's a good thing. So for the Astros, I think they needed to make some type of deal considering just how good the Texas Rangers are. And I would even say I'd even throw in like even Scherzer to Texas, right? And who was the other guy that went to Texas? The pitcher. I'm blanking. It was Scherzer.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Monty.
Yeah, Monty. Right? Those are two big deals. Like if DeGrom and Nathan are healthy, right? That, like, you could throw Monty, you could throw Scherzer, you could throw Nate, and then you could throw DeGrom.
Yeah, that's crazy. If they're all healthy,
insane.
That's a World Series contending pitching staff right there, and they're one of the best hitting teams in the league.
If they were all healthy, and DeGrom's not coming back, but it sounds like the other guy, Nathan, that he's going to be back before the postseason. He's been out for a little bit now, so I think the Rangers did a good job. I think Houston did a good job, and I think that Baltimore deal is a sneaky good one.
Yeah, I think there wasn't really huge over-the-edge blockbuster trades, but yeah. I think the number one, because the Orioles weren't missing many pieces, but I guess if you could say they were missing one, it was definitely starting pitching.
Yeah.
So they went out and got that, and Jack Flaherty there. So I think that's a huge move for them. I think that's might be enough to put them over the edge because I think at this rate they're definitely going to make the postseason, and from there it's all about making a magic run, and just getting hot at the right time. So I think it definitely puts them in a better position to make it to the playoffs and then possibly even win it all.
And he's young. He's 27.
Yeah, young team overall too.
Yeah.
So they'll probably end up extending him now.
Yeah.
So, I guess that brings us to if I had to choose one, I think I would have said the same one as you, that Jack to the Orioles. But I guess if I had to say another, I like that Monty to the Rangers. He's been huge. One of the best pitchers. He's been one of the best pitchers on the Cardinals, and like you said, if they had the healthy pitching staff, they're gonna be very, very dangerous. No one's going to want to see them in the playoffs.
I can just imagine if everyone was
even
healthy.
Without DeGrom there.
Yeah.
And then if Scherzer's getting older, but he has the playoff experience. Monty's solid, and then DeGrom, but he's not there. So who's the last pitcher in there? Oh, Eovaldi. Yeah.
Eovaldi.
So yeah, that's a solid. If they all play to their full potential, they're also going to be hard to beat there. So I guess that brings me to this question for you, Braeden. Was there any transactions that went from, okay, this team is on the bubble of winning the World Series, and now they made the trade, and now they're like, okay, they're going in, they're going to win it all. If it's do or die at this point.
I'm not one to go ahead and just say like, this is a like team altering trade that is going to, like, not only is it just a huge splash, it's like this team can win the World Series. I think, and we talked about it, I think a team like Baltimore, as sad as it is for me to say, before this trade, they looked pretty damn good. They looked like they could beat anybody. They looked like they could go to toe-to-toe with a team like the Astros, who got the veteran postseason presence, and a team like the Rangers, who are pretty much stacked, right? A team like the Rays, who are very similar to Baltimore in that sense. If I had to pick one, I mean, if Texas is healthy, even without DeGrom, they put up a lot of runs.
Yeah, they're the best hitting team in the league. I think
they put up a lot of runs, and if you got pitching, got pitching and you can score a lot, you know what I mean. You don't even need to be like that incredibly insane of a defensive team. If you can pitch, have the best pitching staff, and be the best hitting team, it's like, how can you really go wrong? You know what I mean? So I would say probably if you made me pick one, I'm gonna pick Texas because I don't want to pick Baltimore.
All right, fair enough. And then a little bit more quiet on the National League side of things.
Yeah.
We had the Marlins trade, so they traded Gene Segura and a prospect for Josh Bell.
Yeah.
Right? Is that correct?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it here. But
I mean, obviously the Marlins have been one of the very under the radar teams all season. Like, I don't think anyone really knows that they're in first in the East. Aren't they first in the East?
The Marlins? No, the Braves.
Oh, the Braves are. Aren't
the Braves, but it's kind of like right now. It's kind of like the Braves are way up here, and then it's like the Marlins and like the Phillies are getting there, but like basically everyone else. Because to me, the Marlins right now are a better team than the Phillies. Right? They're playing better baseball anyway. Probably roster wise, I would pick the Phillies. Same kind of thing as last year, where they come into the postseason as like underdogs, like wild card team, and if you let them get hot, same thing as last year.
Yeah. So yeah, Marlins are in good shape. Definitely one of the under the radar teams. And then I guess staying on the NL side of things, besides the Cardinals dealing some guys like you said with Jock Flaherty and Montgomery, I guess the bigger names now are Verlander and Scherzer. Verlander back to Houston, Scherzer to the Rangers also. So obviously the Mets became sellers. So they're looking more toward the future at this point, which you can't blame them. There's no way they're going to beat the Braves or probably not even the Marlins at this point.
Yeah.
In the postseason. So I guess that brings me to the question: do you think the Mets were smart to sell this season?
Yeah. Yeah. Shut it down. They kind of like, as a Yankees fan, I don't root for the Mets. I'm not one of those people that's like a New York sports fan, so the Yankees suck. I'm going to root for the Mets. I don't do that. Never. I don't understand that. I've had that discussion with actually a lot of people who are like, oh, the Yankees are good. I'm going to root for the Mets. It's like, I don't do that. I don't play that game, right? But I kind of wish that the Yankees would have been like sellers, not obviously because like the Mets really sold, right? Like they made it very clear what their future is. I kind of wish the Yankees would have done something similar. Obviously, I'm not saying sell Cole. No, right? But making moves like that so I would have a better idea as to what really is going on. With the Mets what their plan is. They had this experiment where, we're going to sign Scherzer, we're going to sign Verlander, and we're going to get Lindor, and we're going to have Pete Alonso, and we're going to sign all these huge names, and we're going to go win a World Series. We're going to have the highest payroll. Don't care. And it backfired because it really just shows that chemistry truly, truly matters. Because, look at Houston. That they've kept that core of Bregman and Altuve, and now that the shortstop, what's his name, Jeremy?
Pena,
Yeah, they're keeping that team together. Kyle Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, like they've got their core, right? Mm-hmm. That's why they've been consistently, despite the cheating allegations, they've been consistently almost every year in the World Series. It's because they got the same core group of guys and they have chemistry. You can't really buy a championship. Same thing's going on in San Diego. Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, you can't just expect to throw 11-year deals at these people and be like, oh, we're stacked now.
Yeah. On the topic of the Padres, I know they've gotten a little hot these past couple of weeks. Do you think they have do you think they have that last streaky run in them where they can sneak into the playoffs? I think they do, Braden. They have the talent. They have the roster. Looks like it's starting to click. We know they've always been streaky. That's just how they play.
Yeah.
But
they
I wouldn't be surprised if they make a little run and then end up sneaking into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, they're for the exact reasons you listed, you can't count them out. They're below 500 right now, barely. They're a game behind, right? They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're kind of picking up, and just because of who's on the team, right? And they kind of do have experience. They were in the NLCS last year.
Right.
This team was a few games away from being in the World Series last year. Mm-hmm. They're stacked. They really, honestly, only got better in the offseason. So this, it is surprising how, not good they've been. But of all the teams that are here, I would have the most confidence in being you know what? Even though they're fourth in the West, you got the Dodgers, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and then the Padres, right? The Diamondbacks have kind of fallen back a little bit. Not too much, but haven't, their last 10, 3-7, not playing great ball. Don't let a team like the Padres get hot. I don't care. I don't care if they finish the season a few games over 500. I wouldn't want to play them.
Right, yeah. I agree.
I
roster
wouldn't want to play
with baseball. You just got to sneak in there. And literally, you look at the Phillies last year, anything could happen. I think I've referenced this before, but I read, when reading Moneyball, they literally say, the postseason baseball is so flawed because they don't play enough games to show who the real best team is. I mean, you see, obviously, the best team typically comes out on top, but when it comes to those wild card, those best of 3 series,
look at the Phillies,
best of 5 series, yeah, anything could happen in those ones. 7-game series is a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I said, once you make it to the playoffs, you just gotta get hot, make a run, and then anything could happen. So I do think the Padres will. I think they're gonna sneak in. I think they're gonna get hot. They have the roster. They have the pitching. They've been underperforming all year. Starting to click a little bit. I think they're gonna make a little run and make a playoff push here at the end.
So just remind me real quick. How many? Is it 3 wild card teams get in?
I believe it's the 3 division winners, and then 3 best records after that.
Okay.
So yeah, 6 on each, 6 AL, 6 NL, which people say is too much. I think that's the perfect amount.
I think that's fine. Yeah, I agree with you there. But right now, the 3 wild cards, as we record this on August 2nd, right? The 3 wild card teams right now would be the San Francisco Giants, the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are actually ahead of the Marlins by half a game, but this is how close.
Oh, they are now.
Yeah, they're in second.
Wow, I did not even realize that.
Yeah, the Marlins are 4-6 in the last 10. They've lost their last 2. They're playing the Phillies right now.
Okay.
And I think they lost the first 2. You know what I mean?
Big
so
series.
The Marlins were just ahead, but haven't played well against the Phillies, so the Phillies jumped them. So right now it's the San Francisco Giants, the Phillies, and the Brewers are those 3 wild card spots. So if the Padres were to get in, they still got the Marlins ahead of them, they got the Diamondbacks ahead of them, and they got the Cubbies ahead of them. Your Cubbies, somehow, some way.
What do you mean somehow, some way? I saw from the start 8-2 in the last 10. Belly's batted 400 in the month of July. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
400.
The thing that concerns me about the Padres is it almost might be too late. And they're hot,
Fair.
They can get hot, right? But the Marlins are a good team. The Diamondbacks were the best team in the NL West for a while, and the Cubbies are probably the definition of consistency as far as they sit there and they're the definition of a 500 team in my
Cubbies were buyers at the deadline.
They were. Who
did they get? They got didn't they get a pitcher or something?
Yeah, let me see. Hold up.
They didn't trade away Bellinger. That's a start.
They got Job Robertson from Tampa.
Pitcher.
They got right-hand pitcher. Yep. Jose Cuas from the Royals. They got infielder Jeremy. I'm gonna butcher his last name. From Washington. Yeah. So they went and got 3.
Okay. Isn't it Candelaria or something?
Candelaria, but who's good? He's a good player for all I know. He was a late buy. third baseman. So it to me, like, as far as like they had a good trade deadline, right? To me, it tells them that they're really going for a wild card spot, which at the beginning of the season, I mean, you've kind of been on them for a while. I haven't really been the biggest buyers of them. I still don't think, even if they get to the playoffs, that they're going to make much noise, but we can have that discussion a different day, right? But what I was getting at is, yeah, the Padres could get there. The Brewers aren't necessarily a team I believe in. The Phillies have experience from last year. The Giants have, the 10 games over 500. Can the Padres bounce over the Marlins, the Diamondbacks, and the Brewers, though? Could they do it? Yeah? It's tough, though. You know what I mean?
They have the roster. If there's one team that has a roster to make a comeback this late in the season, it's the Padres.
You're right. They're probably the team on here that I would think has the best shot to, like, jump a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
Because I could see the Diamondbacks being streaky, the Marlins being streaky.
Listen to this roster. Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Tatis, Soto, Bogarts.
Tatis, I forgot about Tatis, too.
Gary Sanchez.
Yeah. Matt Carpenter. Yeah, they got a team. They definitely got a team. They're only 4 games back, so if they get hot, they'll be scary.
All right, and then going away from the NL, I just have one more comment. So, Angels said they were not trading Ohtani. I know we talked about it last episode, how it'd be dumb for them not, unless they really think they could re-sign him. So obviously, I think we said this in the last episode too. They probably know something that we don't.
Yeah.
So I think they fully plan on re-signing Shohei. I think he wants to stay in the Angels. And I know people are saying, "Oh, why are they buying now? It's so late in the season, like it's too late for them." I don't think they're buying for now. I think they're buying to show Shohei that, okay, we're all in on this. We want to win too. We want to keep you. Let's get Mike Trout back, and let's maybe make a run. Maybe not this year, but a fully healthy Angels roster next year. It could be if they buy in the offseason again, similar to how they did the trade deadline. I think it was more to show that, okay, we're taking this seriously. We're gonna try to win. We're gonna try to be a team that finally makes the playoffs this year, and then if not, definitely next year.
Yeah, and even looking at the AL wildcard, right? The Angels are 3.5 back. Very doable. They got the Yankees, who quite honestly suck. They've got the Seattle Mariners and the Red Sox ahead of them for that final spot. And Toronto, who holds that final spot. But to me, I could definitely see the Angels finishing with a better record than the Yankees, and I can see them finishing with a better record than Seattle. Seattle sold. Okay. Right? I think I think that they, if it goes right for them, I think that they could sneak in, right? I don't think that they'll make much noise, but again, it's postseason baseball. You can't really.
Yeah, I don't know if you got Shohei going game 1, man. Anything could happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all about taking that first game, right?
Help me there to compete.
But I think they had a good trade deadline. Really, it kicked off when they said we're keeping Ohtani, right? Because kind of the perspective of it there is, they did as well as they possibly could have. They did as well as they could have. Because the perspective, I guess, really turned to, if Ohtani does leave, we're going to have to reset anyway. So why not just go all in? Right. Yeah, why not just do it? Because you know what I mean? Like,
if they have the two best
if you trade Ohtani, you've set your future essentially, right? You're going to go into kind of not like necessarily a rebuild, but you'd have to start over, right? You're going to have a bunch of prospects and whatever, and then maybe be able to grab them back in the off season. Who knows, right? But the moment you say no, we're keeping Ohtani, like you said, they probably know something we don't. Why not just push all your chips to the middle and just say, you know what? We believe in ourselves, right? And Ohtani might decide in the offseason, I want to go to Dodgers, I want to go to Seattle, or I want to go wherever. You're going to have to reset anyway.
All right, that's a good point. Coming up on 20 minutes on the episode,
Yep.
I think I got everything off my chest. We're just going to bring you one more thing. We're going to go over who we think is going to be the World Series matchup after the trade deadline. So, Braeden, you could start here. I think you told me yesterday, but give me...
Yeah.
Give me 2 matchups. Like, is that
I'll give you... what I'll do is I'll give you... I'll give you some teams. I'm not going to go crazy, obviously, picking teams. And we kind of talked about it already. In the AL, I mentioned Texas, right? They're a fantastic hitting team, and if they're healthy, their pitching staff is solid, right?
Right.
Like I said, same thing with Houston. They've got the experience. They're a team you don't want to see. You probably have to go through them, but you don't want to have to see them, right? And then the Orioles and the Rays. Like, these are all teams that I mentioned, right? If I had to pick one of them, realistically, Baltimore looks the best.
Okay.
Right? Realistically, Baltimore looks the best of those 4 teams, but they're young. Right? So I'm not going to pick them because they literally have 0 playoff experience. Everyone on the roster is like 25 or younger. So I'm gonna pick Texas because I'll never pick Houston. If I had to pick one team right now, Texas, just because top to bottom, I think they're probably the best roster that we have in the AL. Baltimore might be the hottest team, might be the best team going in. Young, Astros, not picking them. The NL, I think you got to go with the Braves. I mean, yeah, the Phillies were there last year. They might make some noise in the playoffs, but the Braves they just look different. Like, they score a ton of runs, and you got Spencer Strider. Like, you know what I mean? They're across the board, they're a really good team.
You know, Matt Olson has 35 home runs already?
Yeah.
And then Austin Riley has like 28 I saw today, isn't? Like, that's insane.
They're balling, yeah.
That was they're what Stanton and Judge were supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean Judge is doing his part.
Yeah.
As Giancarlo just
that 1-2 punch,
hit a 3-run homer.
Yeah, so I would say the Braves, and I am gonna throw a wild card in there. I'm not gonna pick the Dodgers just because, it seems like every year that everyone's like, yo, this is the year, right? But then they don't even get to the World Series. The year that they got to the World Series was like a fluke year, and it was the COVID year anyway. I'm not saying I would ever bet on them or pick them, but the Reds could be a team that because if they win the Central, right, you win your division, right? If you get a team to me, if like a team like the Diamondbacks went to Cincinnati, or like the Marlins, or even the Phillies, like, the Reds are a fun team that I wouldn't pick to win the World Series. Like I said, the Braves, obviously. Right. But I could see the Reds almost making it to the NLCS. Because they're a team I could see them getting hot. And they're really fun, and America will love it. If, like, the playoffs start and they get, like, I don't know, the Diamondbacks or the Phillies and the Marlins or something like that, and then they go through them, and then they get the NLCS, and, like, Ellie De La Cruz is having, like, an insane postseason. He's got, like, 3 home runs in the first... You know what I mean? It would just be fun. You know what I mean?
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
But Braves, definitely... I'm not picking the Reds. The Braves, you got to pick. So Braves, Texas would be my pick right now.
Braves, Texas. All right. So since you're going Braves, Texas, I guess I'm going to go... I'll give you my fun one first. I think I said this in the beginning of the year, and I'm sticking with it. I had the Cubbies in the World Series. Who was my AL team? Was it the Rays?
I think it was Tampa. But this is when Tampa was considerably ahead of Baltimore.
Right. So I'm going to stick with that just because I said it in the beginning of the year. I can't change it now. So Cubbies, Rays, World Series. You heard it here first.
Cubbies, Rays. And my at the beginning of the year, my prediction was Braves Yankees, right? So I'm still sticking with the Braves, right? I just can't sit here and pick the Yankees.
See my Cubby, like the Cubbies to me are like what the Reds are to you. Like they could sneak in and then anything could happen.
They could make some noise. That's a good take though. That's a solid take. I don't really believe in the Brewers.
Bellinger just batted .400. He has playoff experience. Yan Gomes. He has playoff experience. You got Kyle Hendricks, Ian Happ. They both won a ring with the Cubs in 2016. And then you got Mike Talkman, who's balling out a little bit over there. Just made some little trades there to get some bullpen help. Got a third baseman. Nico Horner's been having a good year. Suzuki. So I think if they're if they could be consistent, they can make a run. First they have to make it first. They just the big series against the Reds this weekend or this week.
Yeah.
I think they played them yesterday.
They play the Braves. The Braves coming up.
Yeah. So they play the Reds like right now and the Braves after.
Yeah, two big series.
So yeah, Rays, Cubbies I would go with, and then I guess my AL will be. You said Rangers, right?
I did.
All right, so I'm gonna go. See, I would go Rangers too, but I wanted the same one. I'll do Orioles.
You said Rays to begin with. What would you say now?
So I would. Oh, like actually, what would I say? See, I would actually say Rangers, but I'm gonna pick a different one.
No, that's fine.
I guess I'll go Orioles. They'll be a fun team. No, I think we go Astros. As much as I hate to say it, they have that experience, like you said. They have the chemistry
it's the experience.
With the core guys.
It means so much.
I mean, the Orioles are fun to watch. They're a good team. They'll be great in the future. But I think the Astros have that edge because of that experience, and they have that core, those core guys there. And then in the NL, I guess. I don't think anyone's beating the Braves really. They just look unstoppable. They have the pitching, they have the hitting.
Yeah.
They could do it all. Like maybe I could see like maybe you said, like maybe like a central team like the Reds. Like I can't see them like pulling off an upset.
Exactly.
Like that
it's like a crapshoot at that point. It's like it would be really fun if this team got to the NLCS. Yeah. It was kind of like how last year it was like the Phillies and the Padres, and those weren't two teams that people were really thinking. They were thinking teams like the Braves or the Dodgers. Those were like the two real teams that people thought were contenders. And it was nice to see like Philadelphia loving it, and then also the Padres, right? But I said this to you earlier. I would love an ALCS, right? Because I'm counting the Yankees out. I'd love an ALCS of Houston versus Texas. I would love that.
That'd be cool.
I think that'd be so cool for the sport. And again, I'm picking the Braves. But if you gave me like Braves Phillies or Braves Marlins in the NLCS, or at least to see each other in the playoffs, a 7-game series where two teams that hate each other play, would love that too.
Right. So I think it's wild cards 2 out of 3. The DS is 3 of 5. CS is 4 of 7. World Series is 4 of 7.
Yeah.
So that could happen. If the Braves end up being a high seed, and then one of those wild card teams sink in there. So I think I'm gonna go Braves. I'll go Braves Astros.
Okay.
2021 rematch, I believe. And I got the Braves. I got the Braves in probably 5.
No, was it? What was the World Series last year? Oh wait, no, never mind. It was the Phillies.
Phil's Astros. Astros. If they make it to World Series this year, it'll be 3 in a row. They made the World Series.
Yeah, because they were in the year before, and that's when they lost, or the Braves beat them. And the year before that was
COVID year.
This would be 3. Yeah, that was the COVID year, so that was Tampa.
Dodgers, Tampa.
That was a weird year, very weird year. But
and then Nationals. So I guess you could say, like, besides the COVID year, the Astros have made the World Series in 2017, 2019, 21, 22, and then
potentially 23.
Possibly 23. And they're going. They have the talent. All right.
They got the chemistry.
I think I get everything across. Good thing we separated 2 episodes.
Yeah. A lot to talk about. But now we can look forward to, we'll still talk baseball, but we do have football coming. We got
football coming right around the corner.
Preseason football starts this and next week. I think the Hall of Fame game is this week.
I think this week's the first preseason game.
So we're going to get a lot of football content, and I'm very excited to have a full season on In the Yard of football content.
In the Yard, on the gridiron.
There you go.
Not
bad. Write that down.
In the Yard on the Gridiron Edition. All right, thank you everyone for listening. Like, subscribe, comment what you think the World Series matchup is going to be after the trade deadline. And thank you for listening, and check out our other content. I've been slacking on the football channel a little bit, but I'll get those up and running again soon. So
awesome.
See you next time. Go Yankees. One last little run, hopefully.
And we'll see.
And we'll see you next time.
Yep. All right.